Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to TSCC Radio Live at 1:30 every Saturday afternoon. I'm today's host, Hu Jing. In this month's program, we are focused on sharing about the hobbies and interests. We have invited Brother Jin Xiang in the previous sessions to share about his hobbies in bicycle and fishing. For today and next program, we have invited another brother, Lin Jierong, to our program. Yep.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, that's Brother Lin Jierong, this handsome, sporty gentleman sitting right besides me. That's him. Hi. Hi, Jierong. Thanks so much to coming to our today's program to share about your hobbies.
Sure, thanks for inviting me.
Okay.
It's very good to be here.
Good. So before we start the program, maybe you can just do a self-introduction to yourself, to introduce yourself.
Sure. So I'm Zerong. I am currently working at the Central Bank. I'm a portfolio manager there, managing the reserves of Singapore. I've always been very active in sports, so I'm very honored and happy to be able to be here to share a passion that I've always loved, and glad that I can be wearing my sports attire here to be able to share this passion of mine. So I've been in Tai Seng Christian Church for almost 5 years now. I became a Christian when I was in secondary school. So it's been a long journey for me as a believer and also as a sports person.
Wow, yeah. I know you have been very active in sports. Yeah, all sorts of sports, right?
Yes.
Out of all, I know you have made the most achievement in badminton. I think that's your passion. Yeah. Come to badminton, I have some information about him. Here are the highlights. He was the junior captain and the first single of Henry Park Primary School, Hwa Chong badminton team, and the vice president in SMU badminton team. Oh, she's wearing the SMU shirt today. Yeah, and he's also seated the third in national competition, and he won several team medals such as West Zone champions. He also broken records for Henry Park and Hwa Chong to achieve the top 4 nationals in C and A division, represented Singapore to compete in many other countries, including Malaysia and Australia. And he's also coached other people in schools and do one-on-one trainings. Yeah, the list can go on and on. Wow, I think that's very long. Wow, this is really, really great. A great achievement for you. Yeah.
I see a picture of myself in the older days. Thanks for the introduction. I've taken part in a lot of competitions when I was younger, and that's kind of helped me shape the way I take on competitive sports and the way I live life also. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think by looking at badminton, it's a very fast-paced racket sports. I mean, it looks easy to pick up, but I think not easy to play well. But for you, at a very young age, you already had such a great achievement. That's very, very well, very good. Yeah. My question here is, when did you start to learn badminton, and why end up you picked badminton?
Sure. So from young, I was a very active kid. I think from a very young age, when I was even in kindergarten school, my brothers were very sporty also. So we were used to play badminton at the gate and also play football at the backyard. So this was most of the time we spent a lot of time doing that. And when I went to Henry Park Primary School, my mom brought me to the coach and went through certain trials, and then the coach, back then my coach was actually a Olympic champion from Beijing, so she came to Singapore to coach me.
No wonder you get the professional training since very young.
So I'm very appreciative of what she has done for me, and she invited her to my wedding also. So I started training when I was in primary 3, and then since then I took part in competitions in primary school and secondary school and junior college all the way to university.
Yeah. Wow. That's very great. So I know you have been so good until they even want to train you to be in a national team, right? So, but end up you gave up the offer? Why?
Well, I think back then, when I was 14, 15, I was seeded 3 in the competitions, national competitions. So, and also there was a lot of Youth Olympics was back happening back then. I really wanted to take part and train for it. But as a student, I was trying to juggle between my studies and also playing badminton. While I actually loved playing sports very much at that point in time, I love being in the badminton court more than actually being in the classroom. So, but ultimately, I think my parents encouraged, or my mom encouraged me to study more lah. So actually, I decided to then focus on trying to balance on both sides. Yeah.
Right. So you are more into academic.
I'll say trying to balance of both. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Really, it's not easy. To be a full-time athlete. I think you have to require a lot of hard work and discipline and even sacrifices. So which means you might have to give up a lot of your other interests as well. So, but by looking at you today, you're already a financial professionals with so many interests, and also enjoying life and also serving in communities. I believe you have no regrets, right?
No, I don't have regrets. I think if you want to be a national player, you have to watch your diet. You have to do a lot of trainings. Back then, I was training 4 times a week. I think to be a national player, you really need to train like almost every day, morning to night. So it's a lot of hard work and sacrifice, less time for your family, less time for other sports also. So I have no regrets because I actually picked up a lot of other sports and I can serve my time in the community and do other things.
Yeah, that's really great. Okay. I know you are a very faithful Christian. Even in our church, you're also involved in teaching, also leading our youth group, right? How do you share the gospel with your friends through the sports? Maybe you can share.
So interestingly, I didn't become Christian when I was in primary school. I only became when I was in secondary school onwards. So being a captain right from a very young age, I always had the opportunity to lead people, to influence people. But back then, not being a Christian, I was quite harsh and hard on my teammates. Sometimes I punish them for coming late or not coming for training on time. But along the way, after I became Christian, we went to junior college. I as a captain, right? So before every competition, I shared with them about my goals, my what we want to achieve as a team, and then also having prayer sessions for them, regardless of whether they were believers or not. So before every competition, I would pray and also share with them the gospel. So along the way, I also invited some of my teammates to church. Okay. So that's where I think that they really got the exposure to going to church as well. So one of the stories was, I had a 80s teammate, a teammate that didn't believe in God, and I shared with him about trying to achieve this top 4 result in Hwa Chong back then. And through that season, where we had some challenges when we were facing some losses in the competition, and I thought it was nearly impossible. He actually told me that he went back in his showers and knelt down and prayed. Wow. So he actually shared with me about this, and until today he's a Christian now. So that's a story that I always keep it close to my heart, and I share with my students even in church. Yeah.
Wow, that's really a real life and a good testimony. Yeah. So you also shared about the game was quite challenging. It's also nearly impossible, but in the end, you and your team made it. I think through God's grace.
It did. It was really an amazing journey with God, because that was the time when I actually committed that competition. I recall in junior college 2, J2. I had a vision from God back then when He showed me that we were going to break the national top 4 record for Hwa Chong. It was nearly impossible because we always never really achieved that sort of results. And I was deciding actually whether to quit badminton to join football at that point in time.
Okay.
So I even told my teacher in charge that time that I wanted to leave football, and he was a bit disappointed. I told him that I had reasons from that God showed me to join badminton. So then I shared that vision with my teammates, and then we continued to train. And through the competition, we lost a game that we were supposed to win. So we were almost out of the competition. but ultimately, when we came to the very important match, then I recall that it was very, very close. I was actually losing, but I felt very peaceful. I was actually singing hymns when I was playing the game.
Wow.
So it's very interesting. And then we managed to win that school, and then we managed to go to the top 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think this experience, I'm sure you will never forget.
Yeah, I'll never forget. Yeah.
Wow. Praise the Lord. Yeah. Just I know you have shared some pictures about other sports. I can really see you are not only good at badminton, but also very, very active in other sports as well. Can you share some of the background of all these activities? This one?
Sure. I think this was in Switzerland. After army, when I went on bungee jump with 2 of my other friends. I'm actually a person that's quite afraid of heights. So I surprised myself by jumping into this very beautiful lake in the mountain. From young, badminton is a sport where you train your body and you are good in your balance, in your speed, in your flexibility. So from a very young age, I suppose I'm more athletic. So I enjoy playing other sports, and therefore, my character has become more adventurous, explore new games, new activities. So this was in Tioman. I did a diving trip. So I was running in the water, in the sea actually.
Yeah, I can see that. It's like a running track at the sea floor.
Yeah, abandoned one in the sea actually.
Oh, so it's a real one.
Yes,
yes. It looks like it. Okay, wow. Okay, interesting.
So other sports. So I took part in an aquathlon race in SMU. I came in first actually. So it was you swim like maybe 3 km and then run for like the next 10 km.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you're very fit.
Yeah, in the past more fit.
Still fit. Oh, this one is what?
So this is shooting in Thailand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I took part in this Subaru challenge where I had to put my hand on the car for as long as you can to try to win this car.
Yeah.
So I was quite optimistic. I thought I could have a chance to win this car and drive it home. But I spent about 52 hours or 54 hours on this car.
Wow.
The winner was 80 something hours.
Okay.
So I was short of 1 day to stay there and win the car. So every 6 hours, as mentioned earlier to you just now, every 6 hours you only get 5 minutes of break.
Yeah.
You get to eat and then go to the toilet.
I can't imagine. I don't get any sleep for 52 hours. Wow.
So for like close to 1-2 weeks, my hand I couldn't clench my fists after that. Yeah.
Okay. What's next? It's a football.
Yeah. So other sports that I played was football, a sport that I love very much. I also went to, this was in Chiang Mai, where I got to play with people, the locals there. So I managed to share the gospel with them, get to play sports with the locals there. So I think sports has really allowed me to get to know a lot of people, all kinds of people of different backgrounds.
Right. Without language. Only the body
exactly
action,
right. Yeah. Sport is a sport where it's common language.
Yeah, no border.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's right.
Okay, next. Oh, kayak.
This was actually during church camp, so you went kayaking.
Wow, it's nice. Any more?
And golf, I still play these days.
Wow,
Yeah.
golf. This
Climbing.
rock climbing.
Took part in a rock climbing competition in Langkawi.
Oh wow, Langkawi.
And this was in school when I led a team to compete in a soccer competition.
When was it?
This was in university a couple of years back. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Any more? Oh, bicycle. Wow,
it's not a bicycle. It's actually a motorcycle. So.
Motorbike.
So one of my passion is to ride a bike.
Yes.
So I still ride today. I enjoy the adventure and the adrenaline rush. Yeah.
Yeah, I know why. One of the reasons why Rachel like you, because you drive bicycle, right? Very cool. So wow, this is the truck.
ATV. This was also in university, but during church camp we also had a chance to do this in Batam. So a couple of our church friends in Mount Kamal, we actually went there to play with this this ATV.
Okay. Wow, I can really see.
Yeah,
that's how you get to make
Rachel's sport,
your
right?
love.
Yeah, I play basketball with her.
Oh.
She's better than me.
I'm sure she. That's how.
She can come and share about basketball someday, right?
Yeah, sure. I will invite her maybe. Yeah, really. Thank you so much for sharing your personal experience in badminton and also your other activities in sports. I think, we had to really know you better today, I think. In next week's interview, I want you to share with our online audience with more about the technical part, how to start a badminton. So, look forward to see you next week again.
Sure, I look forward to that too.
Okay, everyone. I think time's up. We will see you next week. Bye bye.
Bye bye.